Show, our new Monday night podcast where we dive into a bunch of random stuff. And first of all, we're going to be starting out with some series of interviews with some White Collar Rhymes founder, co-founders, artists, and some community members. I am your host, Nikey Joe, with...
I'm co-host, Vulgr Banshee.
And we have special guest today, D-Bird.
Oh shit, it's me. What's up? I'm D-Bird. Hi.
So we're gonna dive in with D-Bird. He is one of the co-founders of White Collar Rhymes, one of the head guys that has a lot of the brains behind the operations. And he also has a recent music video release. We are going to dive into and watch the video and have some questions for that, as well as some upcoming projects and his most recent release. He just released his EP, The Heartbreak Kid.
Extended penis. That's right. I released it to the world, baby.
Jesus. Okay. And we're off to a great start.
I told you I'd save all the good stuff for when we're live, and that was the first one of many.
These are the good juices. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
I actually listened to your EP twice today.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, because I wanted it to be fresh in my mind. I'm like, all right. I'm doodling, and I was getting down. I got a phone call, and they're like, what is that freaking rap shit you're listening to? You don't listen to rap. I'm like, I do now. Leave me alone.
I do now. When it's my friend,
literally,
I do.
Exactly.
Literally me when I found WCR.
Love it.
This is who I am.
That's great. It is my greatest honor to be the sounds in the background that people are confused that you listen to.
It's a good privilege to have, Yeah.
It's my honor.
So with your EP, it was, recently released. It is the first D-Bird EP?
First official release. That's right. I was working on an album, which I have come up with a title with, and I have mostly done at this point. It's called Fully Functioning Adult Rapper. And I realized that half of the shit on there was like breakup sad boy songs. So I was like, I can't have this like taking up the majority of my album. Let's just release an EP. So that's kind of where you got the Heartbreak Kid from.
It was sad boy music. That's what I dug about it. I was like, I could get down on some sad boy music for sure.
Yeah.
If it's going to be rap and sad boy, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I don't quite have the bangs to go with the emo-ness. But, it's there in spirit for sure.
Your white collar job doesn't allow you.
Oh, no emotions can be shown.
So you put all your emotions into your music.
That's right.
So with this specific EP, can you share some of your personal experiences or emotions that have influenced possibly different songs on the album? We know it's a heartbreak sad boy music, so we can kind of guess, but was it one girl, multiple girls?
I'll just say this. It's not all about one person. In fact, the very first song was kind of a culmination of a lot of different experiences. Just feeling like, from different levels of engagement, different scenarios. There was, a time there where it took up a lot of my energy and a lot of my headspace. And so instead of just focusing on it, I would just release it into the air with music. And, I've always kind of viewed music as a catharsis, as a release, right? This is, journaling's dumb. Let's put it into a song, but make it relatable and kind of head boppable,
All right. So using that music as your outlet to get everything out instead of, I guess, spinning on everything, which could be very personal. Um, is that how you kind of approach your songwriting process? Is just all of your thoughts all out and then kind of categorizing it, or?
I'd say that, like, I heard a story once about Lizzo's process that she like got broken up with and then just went into a booth and just started ranting into the microphone. I feel like it was a little bit like that, but more with like the pen. Like just a line would come into my head. And I was like, yeah, yeah. And then like I'm like, okay, well, that's kind of a cool thought, or like how do I kind of work that into a rhyme, right? So I kind of work backwards from there of like, I want to say this thing because it's impactful and it's kind of how I'm feeling. And then how do I set that up? How do I make the words kind of connect to each other? So it's a little puzzle inside of it as well. And the other opposite end of the spectrum, like I kind of do that, but I also do metaphors. Like I like to, I hate when music is just so straightforward of like, I am sad because you hurt me. Boring, right? Like, what was it? Was it, I was calling and I kept getting your voicemail at 10 p.m. on a Saturday, you're out with your friends. It's all about the details. And that's what we talk about week in and week out is good songwriting is the details. And once you have that piece of it, then you can start structuring it in a way to kind of cloak your meanings in metaphor, which, kind of guards you from the external judgment as well.
That is a interesting way of putting it, because you do have a lot of metaphors in your songs. I noticed that today when I was listening to it, but I agree with you. It does. If a song is too straightforward, it's boring. It's literally boring, and I don't want to hear it. I'm like, give me juicy, give me the details so I can paint a picture. Yeah. You can't paint a picture with I'm just sitting in a room and I'm crying. I mean, you could, but it's okay. That's great. The cubicle one might be my favorite.
Oh yeah. That's probably my favorite on the EP as well. I think that, from the stretching that I did of my vocal cords to kind of make a singing sound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was different. And I was like, I like different. I like this.
Yeah, it is different from my norm for sure.
Yeah, don't you say on it, but that you're gonna sing this one?
I feel like
we're trying to sing this one, or we're gonna sing this one, or something along the lines of that.
It's one of those things where, like, I do mention I was like, shit, I'm gonna sing. In my feelings, I'm gonna sing. I do that on one of the tracks, but realistically, I start with a beat that speaks to me. First, I wish I could make my own beats. I don't. We've got some dope beat makers in the Discord, luckily, as well as just some that I've used over the years. So first I find a beat that speaks to me, and then you can kind of figure out what the song needs, right? Like, I know I want to talk about this. Well, should I do a singing chorus? Should I do a, just a rapidy rap chorus? What does the song need to effectively kind of put out, what I need in the most effective way?
Nikki.
So what, Liv?
No, sorry. I was just waiting for you.
Good. You're good. So for this specific album, I know that you said that, that was your favorite one. If for that particular significance to that specific song, can you explain exactly why? Is it just the content? Is it just the way you delivered?
I think for that one, there was a scenario where we were kind of lying to ourselves about, what was happening, about the future, about, us. And, it just kind of, I put it out there plainly, like, when you lie to me, why do you look so beautiful? Right. And that's kind of the baseline from where I was writing of like, I know you're lying. Maybe I'm lying to myself, but you're gorgeous. And, it's one of those things where you want more anyways. So you kind of stick with it just to see what happens. So that's kind of what the song was about.
Like you kind of want to have hope. You're like, but
yeah,
things
will change. Things will get better, right? They always do. What's the worst that could happen?
You always know deep down.
Yeah, you do.
When it's not.
But then there's the 1 in a million, right?
Yeah.
So they say. So they say.
As they say, starting out with a solid foundation of lies is always the best, for a relationship, for sure.
Make the best ones.
For
I heard
this
the toxic
specific
ones
album.
are. Sorry.
No, you go ahead.
No. I was going to say something inappropriate.
Okay.
By all means.
I was going to say the toxic ones are always great in bed. What do you mean?
I've been called toxic before. Hey.
He's like, those aren't red flags. Come on.
They're pink.
Those are green. You're just colorblind, baby.
Are you gaslighting me? No. Totally not. They're pink.
For this specific album, this is your first EP that you've fully done. So you've been doing music for so long. Can you discuss, how this album showcases your growth as an artist, since, previous singles or even collabs that you've done, or, things that you've put on that nobody's ever heard before, except for maybe us in a show?
There's so much unreleased music, and I always spoiler alert it for all my friends in White Collar Rhymes. But I would say that these songs are definitely more artistic, right? There's more metaphors, there's more like deep feelings that I'm pretty proud with how I was able to kind of put those into words, verbalize it, record it, and then put it out there for consumption, right? I think in the past, like, especially if you look at where I came from, it was just very straightforward. It's, in fact, the very first song I ever did was called I'm So Tired. And I literally said, I'm tired of my English teacher's 50-minute speeches. I'm tired of this girl giving me hugs in public. I just started talking about all these things I was sick of. And, there was no metaphor, no anything. Hurt a lot of feelings with it. And, that was kind of a moment where I was like, maybe I shouldn't just be so direct about how I'm feeling all the time. Maybe I should try to be creative about it. And, this is the type of shit that I try to tell people on the review show when they're like just freestyling some sad boy lyrics of like, why'd you hurt me? And you're like, how else can you say it? Like spend 5 minutes coming up with how you're feeling, how else you can kind of describe that
Google
in more interesting terms. Yeah. So I think that's what this album accomplished for me is, definitely more interesting lyrics, I think, from where I started. Less cringe too. I'll say that, like, I can honestly stand on this shit and be like, this is like some sad boy music, but it's not cringe sad boy music. I'll fucking own that. I've made 1,000 cringe songs, and I've learned how to do it without the cringe now.
So you're involved.
You have grown. You have evolved.
Yeah. I'm an evolved man, baby. Modern man.
You are evolved and you are healing as part of the Heartbreak Kid. Are you moving on from that timeline, that narrative? Are you embracing
it? I definitely am not in that same sort of headspace these days. Like, I'm doing great, but I'm still able to kind of tap into those emotions when needed and write a good old sad song just because I'm good at it. I don't know. I feel like my strength is writing breakup songs. Even when I'm like in a relationship, I'll be like, I suck at love songs. I might make a couple breakup songs. It has nothing to do with you. I just like it. So, don't mind me just writing sad boy music when I'm actually we're doing good.
I feel like the same, but then sometimes I'm like, is it? I'm like, I'm like, there's a fine line when it comes to that. There definitely is with subconscious writing, even like not realizing it and then being like, damn, I knew it.
Yeah.
What happened with my divorce?
Other than getting
I
your
was writing
like
on my divorce
heartbroken.
3 years before it.
I always talk when you talk. Other than getting your heart broken, where do you go for inspiration?
Little Caesars. Definitely Little Caesars.
And Audrey.
Yes, definitely.
Other than those three things.
I mean, I watch a lot of TV and I read a lot of news. So if
culture.
Yeah, pop culture for sure. Like I start my morning just getting super depressed over the news. So sometimes I'll see stuff that inspires me that way. I like to be informed. I like to know what's going on.
Because then it's just up from there. So you're gonna have a good day if you just get all the shit in first. You're just like, let's go.
No, I just like to be a realist. It's like this shit's happening, whether I feel good about it, feel bad about it. This is what's happening in the world. And, I think it's important to kind of know what's going on. So, yeah, sometimes that shit inspires me positively or negatively. And pop culture, for sure. I think a lot of the jokey songs come from just shit I see, spending 10 hours on Netflix on a Saturday.
Yeah.
I'll always cherish the song you made me.
Yeah, that was 10 hours of work as well, trying to come up with the perfect birthday song.
When they literally thought you were gonna just freaking bust out guitar.
Yeah. Yep.
Literally thought you were gonna.
I had no idea you didn't know how to play guitar.
Nope. No idea.
He was like, he doesn't know how to play guitar. And I was like,
that was vulnerability.
Afterwards, it was
awesome.
Oh man.
So
listen, chat, you don't even know.
Yeah. Ask Vulgr for the video if you want some context. But essentially when Nikki introduced them to the Discord, I think it was like a birthday or something. And I was like, oh, I know. I pulled out an acoustic guitar that I've had sitting in my windowsill for like 15, 20 years, untouched. Don't know how to play it at all, but I just started banging on it and freestyling a little love song to Vulgr.
Yep. It was amazing. I still have it.
That's good. Inspired by Last Man on Earth. Have you ever seen that?
No. Oh wait, I watched the first season. I think it's a whole like thing, right?
It is a whole thing.
I love. No, it's like more than like one movie, one episode.
Wait,
multiple seasons of it.
Yeah, there's like 3 or 4.
And he's all scruffy and like I think that I did actually watch that show.
It has the voice of Louise from Bob's Burger.
Yeah,
she's amazing.
I did watch that. If it's the guy, 100%.
In the shadows.
Yeah. There's this one scene. It was one of my favorite scenes where Will Forte, with like half of his head shaved and half of his beard shaved, goes up. He's trying to make this guy feel better that he disappointed and upset. And he's like, look, I know you're missing your husband, Gil. Just tell me a few things about him. So he like lists off like, oh, he was a pilot. Oh, he liked this, he liked that. And so he's like all serious about to do his guitar. And then he's like, Gil, you're dead. Gil. It's just like so funny.
So if anybody knows that show and they see the video, they'll know.
Or they might just think I'm a genius that did it all myself. But that's my secret.
That's what we thought. We've both seen that show.
Yeah.
Did not catch on. So
yep.
I laughed so fucking hard. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
With your album, with your actually with all the different elements of it, how did you choose a different musical style and different production elements, like your guitars, for this album to enhance it, and an emotional type of impact for those sad boys?
Like I said, I think the beats speak to me first, And so, the intent was never to make an EP or make a sad boy album or any of that. It was just what happened naturally. When I found these beats, they were speaking to how I was feeling at the time. So, I really just dove in head first and, kind of afterwards put it together like, oh, all of these belong on the same project. So, I think that I've always been a sucker for bluesy guitars, always been a sucker for, kind of slower, down tempo rap beats, because you could do a lot with it with the cadences and with the writing. And at the time, that's what I was really interested in, is writing my feelings out. So that's kind of what I did.
Now we know that you had collaborations on this album. Can you how do you feel that like your collaboration with Kyle enhanced the project?
Yeah, so Kyle Jameson is a goddamn saint. This man is voice of an angel. He is actually my cousin in real life's ex-bandmate. And when White Collar Rhymes first came about, it kind of was the story of, a bunch of people who kind of missed their window for becoming super famous at music, becoming full-time musicians. We all kind of fell into, whatever we fell into, whether it's careers, family life, whatever, is kind of, you wake up and you're like, I'm EMT, totally perfectly fine. But my cousin's band actually stopped touring. They were starting to get really noticed on the local radio stations in Seattle. They were getting booked for all these different gigs. He had a crazy, insane voice. And then Kyle decided to put all that behind to focus on his family. His wife, I think he has like 4 kids now. So when White Collar Rhymes kind of came about, I knew I needed to get my cousin and Kyle involved. Not only one, because of their awesome music connections, but 2, their talent, and kind of getting reinvigorated and reintroduced to like how fun it is to make music. And so that's kind of the connection there with Kyle. And, the guy's voice is so insane. I was like, I need him on something. And it just made sense. I was working on this song at the time, Long Way Down, and it kind of had the perfect space for a talented singer. So I sent it over to him. He knocked it out of the fucking park. Gave me like 3 different ways he sang the chorus, and I was like, I can do more if you want. I was like, no. This is like perfect. You don't need to do anything more. Just stop. That is, call it a wrap. And so that's how it came together.
Kyle is magnificent.
Really,
your cousin T-Bird, right?
T-Bird, yeah. Tim. Yeah. Shout out Kyle, shout out Tim.
Yeah, definitely. Sending tons of love. Definitely love the EP. I know that Vulgr has listened to it multiple times as well. And for this specific, I guess we'll round out and kind of move on to some more things that you've been working on and have coming up, especially since you were talking about, WCR and chasing the dream. But we did have a recent music video come out too. But rounding out for this album, how do you hope that it resonates with your listeners? I do want to kind of pick your brain on that, like on how it might help your listeners with your sad boy themes or your heartbreak, or be able to relate to you a little bit more, or just be like, you know what, like he's right, like fuck it, like I gave her everything, like fuck her, like like how do you hope that you're different? Because I feel like it kind of is like a journey through different emotions through your relationship, each song almost, or through your breakups, etc. Like that's not all the same type of vibe. How do you think this can resonate to help, different people get through maybe different stages of grief that you do have with any type of relationship ending?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like you hit the nail on the head. There's so many different emotions here in this album because it all came from different points, right? The first one, I gave you everything. gave you everything I had. It's like, that was more of a shrug. It was less of a fuck you and more of a, like, really? Like, I know that I'm dope and you're missing out on something, right? Like, that was kind of a shrug. And then there's one, I won't go into the story too much, but you can kind of hear one of the angry confusion one in you can figure out which one that one is, but there's plenty of different emotions to play from. So everybody that's listened to the EP has told me they've resonated with a different song. And there was one song in particular that they're like, this one I love. And that's cool. You know, I think the way that I view it is my music is kind of for me. If it resonates with people, that's great. But ultimately, as an artist, you don't have any control over how it resonates with people or how they interpret your art. And I think that's just art in general, is the artist creates the art that's true to themselves, that's authentic, and then the listeners interpret it however they will. So that's just kind of how I view it.
I think it's really interesting that, you know, so many people that like they like the EP, but specifically one specific song resonates with them. That means you have your hand in so many cookies and different like ways of doing things and different varieties of songs on it that it resonates with so many other people, which is smart.
Yeah, it wasn't the plan, but it's good to be diverse, I guess.
Different kind of sad boy. Which one do you like most?
What flavor of sad you like? What flavor of sad you want today, baby? Let's go.
It's like a journey through a breakup. It really is. Even though it might not all be about one, you know, person or anything like that, just the different angles that you do have from the different perspectives of writing throughout it. It's really, it kind of does round out everything that you could go through going through that, you know? So it's kind of nice to see. How long did it take you to write? When did you start your first song, I guess, in this EP?
The very first song in the EP, like, I actually had this hidden on SoundCloud since 2020, maybe. Ooh. I Gave You Everything was like a 2020 song. And I think maybe I wrote it throughout 2021. You know, there was definitely a lot of different pieces to that specific song. And even in the verses, there's many different stories from my past or people I was thinking of as I was writing it. But that was the earliest.
So a span of 4 years of heartbreak and sad boy.
You know, and some even thinking back on distanter, you know? Yeah. Can't be too specific because you never know what kind of crazy people, what crazy stories people might make up.
I do, off topic, I do want to hear the story about the video that you guys shot from your mouth.
Do you want to show that too? Your new video. We can definitely get that going shortly. It is streaming live now everywhere. Almost. Everywhere? I know that it is being released among many platforms. I know that I watched it on Apple Music, which was a first for me. I was like, what the hell? I'm like, okay, well, I have Apple Music, so this works. But yeah, so you did just release, it's a song that was released with Paradise, a fellow WCR artist, co-founder, guy, co-host, all of everything.
Guy.
He's the homie, yeah.
So with Healthy, can you give us the inspiration, I guess, before we show it, behind the new music video and getting it together and all of that?
Yeah, so let me give you the story of Healthy. So long ago in WCR lore, I see
lore. I love
lore. I see one person is intimately familiar with the lore of this, Cody Nash. Basically, the crew was beefing with some other crew that was kind of loosely related to White Collar Rhymes. Like, some of their members are friends with some of our members, but like also some of their like people didn't fuck with us or whatever. One of them specifically, maybe you remember, I'm not even going to name his name because he doesn't deserve the accolades or the recognition. There was one guy who every week would submit the biggest piece of shit I've ever heard in my life. And as it's my job to give honest reactions to whatever's in front of me, I would say, you're offbeat. You don't know how to flow. Like literally, it seems as if this is your first day ever trying to record written word. And some of his people took offense to that. Like, oh, apparently because you're friends with some of our friends, we have to like this kid's music. No, he sucks. He's terrible. So they made a diss track against White Collar Rhymes because we weren't impressed with this very bad artist. And then White Collar Rhymes, the crew was like, oh, no one can diss us. We're White Collar Rhymes. And I was like, guys, I'm fucking 35. Like, what? Who has the time? You know, who cares? Like, they're bad. The disses were so bad. It wasn't even like offensive or mean. It was just poorly written. And again, didn't know how to fucking flow. So I was like, why am I going to waste my time against, it's kind of like you're trying to make it into, you know, a D1 school for basketball and a little toddler throws a basketball at your knee. You know, you're like, am I going to stop and fucking play one-on-one with this guy? No. So anyways, I digress. They wrote a diss track versus this guy in response to their diss. And it was the dopest fucking beat I've ever heard. And unfortunately, everyone's saying very specific disses against this fucking 19-year-old from Detroit who sucks. And I was like, you guys are wasting this beat. This is a dope beat. Why are we wasting this on this fucking guy? And so I downloaded it myself. I was like, guys, this is a hit. And no one believed me. I was like, no, I'm going to make a hit to this. So I spent a little bit of time. I think I was traveling at the time, came up with the chorus while I was in transit. I was like on an airplane and I came up with the chorus. I was like, this is it. This is the jam. Since then, me and Dice, I recorded my parts to it. Dice heard it. He got on it. And then before you know it, Healthy was born. And the issue was me and Dice, you know, I'm in Portland. He's in Texas. It's been out for a couple of years now, but I think it's always been missing a visual. It's probably one of my favorite songs we've made, but it needs a visual to go along with it if we're going to start being serious and sharing it around. So what are you supposed to do when you're separated by all these miles? Well, that's where I came up with the idea of, you know, basically having two model stand-ins for D-Bird and Paradise. That's kind of how the music video came together.
So it's not you guys in it?
No.
Oh,
it's just two people acting like you guys?
It is.
Bro.
We body swapped with smoking hot, very nice models.
You guys
did a great job.
It?
I want to watch it. I want to watch it. I haven't seen it. I want to watch it.
Everybody, we're about to premiere on WCR. Actually, I think they did it on Sunday, possibly. For the second time on the Nikey Joe Show premiere, D-Birds and Paradise, featuring, I don't know their names, smoking hot models, Healthy.
I'm not rich, I'm just wealthy. Spending all my money, somebody help me. Popping big bottles, my pockets are healthy. Now my team be going green, they arms out like a selfie. Back in the day when they had much to say, but now I'm balling out of control and attacking my goals. Know what I want, gotta have it. A bachelor snatching his rose, a bastard with rose. Cause nobody followed the style, y'all in denial. Collected a handful of ones and you call it a pound. Could it sponsor $1 a mile, running laps on the beat while you running your mouth. How many thousands do I spend on shit I don't need? Money is nothing but digital greed. Me the girl at the club ever pick NFTs. Sheesh. Go ahead and pretend you've had enough of me until I pull out a rack and you come sit on the lap of luxury. Really, I'd have it comfortably if it wasn't for hot girls and cold drinks. Her body language is speaking to me, but let me see what her soul thinks. Throw 100, then another, grab a stack, watch it flutter. Something like a speech impediment, how them double D's in trouble. I'm not rich, I'm just wealthy. Spending all my money, somebody help me. Popping big bottles, my pockets are healthy. Now my team be going green, they arms out like a selfie. Run it up from the top. wealthy. Spending all my money, somebody help me. Popping big bottles, my pockets are healthy. Now my team be going green, they arms out like a selfie. Baby, what you doing? Way you move got me hypnotized. From your lips and eyes to your hips and thighs. I feel you, not trying to empathize. Yeah, my job pays me well, you can tell. Ain't gonna pretend to lie. Alright, you making money. Let me turn that body to an enterprise. Why do I like all the things that are bad for me? Do it the harder way, not talking Anthony. Early G unit, we started a family. Teach you to stunt, get a part of the faculty. From Texas to the Rose City, we on fire. Stop, dropping low. She can roll with me.
God damn it, we on the top and they can't stand it. Man, I planned it, I managed. Big on the block, I'm upper handed. Never stranded, I'm AAA. I just damage on any day. Got my hands on some Minute Maid. I'm outstanding in any place. Hey, what you thought it was, cuz bigger buzz, bigger plug. Sick of us, give a fuck. Tell them suckers, step it up. I got pockets that's super deep and my wallets, they swish sweet. I drop fire all through the week. Yo, I got this, they sick of me. I got mortgage, I got car payments, I got a student loan. What you need, man? I got it. 1, 2, 3. Count them all. Beat.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's probably the first time you have seen a Vulgr. What did you think?
That is, I thought, I wasn't thinking female models for some reason. I was thinking male models, and then females popped up, and I was like, oh, this makes sense. And I was like, oh, okay. How did they know the song, or did they did they video it to match? That was like my one thing. I was like, how did they get the mouth to match? How did they get the mouth to match? Did they know the song?
Movie magic, baby. No, we hired him and basically I wrote on a cue card in black Sharpie, and I was holding it behind the camera, so they were able to read out.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that at all.
Yeah.
I was like, how? It was good.
Maybe I shouldn't tell how the soup's made, like, oh, I don't know, magic.
Yeah, the magician doesn't reveal its secrets. With the theme of the video and the style it was shot, and what was the inspiration behind that, and what message were you trying to convey through it?
Yeah, so honestly, I wrote this song before our trip to Texas. So I knew we were going to be in a ballin' ass mansion with ballin' ass just things everywhere. And we have a whole camera crew that's, running around filming us. So I actually wrote healthy as like a expression of wealth, as a like talk your shit. Let's just, talk about being just filthy rich, because I was planning on shooting the video in Texas at the mansion. And when that didn't happen, when we didn't shoot a music video there, we just kind of didn't have a music video because me and Dice weren't in the same place ever again. So that's kind of, where it came together. And that was the inspiration of like the lyrics, the everything. I wanted to talk about excess so we could kind of film in a mansion just flaunting our shit.
Nice.
So, second runner-up to that was pretty ladies and an awesome car and money everywhere. I get it.
Business.
Yeah.
Businessmen.
Well, and let's be honest, like that's a strip club song. I don't care what you say. That is a booty shaking strip club song.
You're throwing money. Yeah.
How do you think that?
But I didn't want it to be the obvious, right? I thought if we did like, okay, in a club with some shaking asses, that would work for this song. But I wanted kind of the opposite. I wanted classy, luxury. Like once the idea came of let's get 2 models, I was like, I want business suits, right? Like let's kind of do the opposite of what the expectations are.
You wanted to stand out. You wanted to be different, not like all the other ones that are literally that.
Yeah, exactly. Just for vampires too. But it should be girls in a Chippendales club.
A good one too. For sure.
After a business, all in business suits after work. For this, this is totally flashed in my brain. I like that because I didn't know. I knew most of the intent behind it and stuff, but like with how seeing it, I guess, fully finished and stuff, didn't know, I guess, until, you saying that things clicking, like the money throwing at their faces and stuff, for this. And how do you think the visual representation of this, of your music enhances the overall impact of the song for possible, strip clubs in the future? Because that would be even a cool ass video to play in the background in a strip club because it's classy mixed with assy, I guess.
Classy and assy. My two favorite things. Yeah, I mean, I think these days, like, it's almost an expectation, which is hilarious because you don't really have the TRLs anymore, right? You're not tuning into MTV to look at music videos. Most people probably don't, search out music videos. They just go, oh, a new release, let's go on to Spotify, right? But at the same time, there is an expectation because everything's connected. Everything's on the internet now. There is sort of an expectation to have visuals if you're going to be sharing unknown music. So nowadays, the independent artist is expected to blow all of their budgets on filmmaking, editing, production, right? You can't have it sound like shit. So it's like all of these things for unknowns to then throw, some spaghetti at the wall, see if something sticks. And even then, it's like, nah, try again next time. But for me, I knew that this song was good enough to want to share around. And if you're going to share it, you have to have something moving on the screen. Otherwise, people just lose interest pretty quickly.
I only see videos on my Spotify on the little upper thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? And it's the same 30 seconds over and over again.
Yeah.
That's the only videos I ever see. So you're right.
Is my Spotify like that though too?
What's that?
I said, is this gonna be on Spotify like that though too? That'd be cool.
I hope so. Hope so.
I hope so. We'll have to look into that. Was there any, besides you writing on the cue cards, was there any behind the scenes stuff that happened that you'd like to share that was interesting during filming or the process?
So much. So pretty much everything went wrong. And this is just kind of the story of my creative pursuits in video is everything goes wrong and somehow we make it work anyways. So for this, the first thing that went wrong was like the very first shot was at the top of a parking garage in the middle of downtown Portland. And the models were like having a hard time finding it. I even like put the pin on there and then kind of had to run downstairs to go like usher them in. And so we ended up getting kind of a late start. And then at the same time, I hadn't written any of the cue cards yet. So like we were getting some establishing shots, but I'm like writing furiously, getting cramps in my hand from just Sharpie on cardboard because like I can't write fast enough, and legibly enough for these women to read off of them. And the other thing that just almost wrecked the whole thing, Portland being Portland, decided to go from super sunny and beautiful to drenching, downpour, like monsoon level flooding. And you can kind of tell, but not really in the music video. We had to take like 20 to 40 minute breaks where the girls would like sit in the car. I'd sit in the production van of the director and we would just wait out the rain. We're not going to, force them to just sit outside. Can't have the Bluetooth speaker and the cardboard out there. So all day we were kind of taking breaks, at the whims of the rain.
That sucks.
Yeah.
I didn't know Portland was like that.
The stories are true.
Ah.
And Ray Stans, being a perv, asked, did I hook up with either or both? No. I kept it professional, and that is the way it should be.
Good on you.
Yeah. Much respect to both of their talents, and they did a great job.
If they would have DM'd you, would you have crossed that boundary at that point?
I have a girlfriend, so no.
Okay.
I buried the lead a little bit, but yeah.
You have a girlfriend.
Faithful.
The Heartbreak Kid coming back for more.
The Heartbreak Kid. I'm like, yes, please. Break my heart, please. Hey, maybe I'll make another album.
That's what I was about to say. It's just, creative
life is
fodder
content. That's it. Life is content. That's how you have to look at it as an artist at the end of the day, to be okay with the shitty shit that happens to you. Well, it's content, I guess.
I mean, it's kind of the best way to look at it is like, well, I've got a new album.
When life gives you
Nash got her look.
Yeah, we went to Salem for Dope Cody Nash show album release, and hung out a little bit with him, Zone, a bunch of the Salem rappers. Late night into the early morning at this Airbnb where the fucking lady lived downstairs.
Oh, that's weird.
I looked at my Airbnb rating, and she gave me like a 2 or a 3 or something, and she's like, David's really good unless he leaves his dogs unattended. One of the rules is don't leave your dogs unattended. I'm like, fucking no, it's not. That is never a rule that you explained. You have a fenced yard, it was dog friendly, and I'm gonna go rent your Airbnb for $350 a night to what? Stay in your Airbnb? How does that make sense? I digress. That was Salem. Good
that was Salem.
The dog trials.
What a weird thing. Like, who rents an Airbnb to stay inside at the Airbnb?
Unless you're doing crazy sex stuff? No.
That's true. Could be crazy sex. Now I kind of want to re-rent her house just to do crazy sex stuff and make a mess.
She lives down below.
Just walk out back to the house butt ass naked.
I'm gonna horrify this old lady with the mess I leave. It's gonna be a nightmare.
You're gonna win a 1-star.
Start doing yoga.
Yeah. I'm just saying, you don't want noises above you, whether sex or dogs or otherwise. Maybe don't live downstairs and stay there the whole time as people rent out your upstairs.
Unless they're trying to watch you.
Weird.
Yeah. That is weird.
I rented one like that once. But they weren't like they were like upstairs, like in a tri-level, and there was like it was weird. It was weird. And they didn't put on there that it was like conjoining like that anywhere.
They never do.
They never, and then it's weird because there was weird sex stuff going on.
I think we should start interviewing Vulgr.
No! I got too many stories.
We'll have to do like different day Joe Jam interviews. Because like I can't interview them because they're my family and I know everything. It's not as interesting.
True. For the D-Bird show, I'll just get into all the gross sex stuff.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
It's the gross sex show.
So for this video, we'll go back to the video.
Yeah, my new video. Yeah.
We took a hard left. So for this too, with the EP and now this video too, once again, how do you think that this reflects on your growth as an artist?
The fact that I have visuals to go along with one of my favorite songs, Big Growth. This is the second video I've ever done. Well, I guess we're counting Fault Lines. This would be the third video I've ever done. I've got one video in the hopper for my Little Caesars Pizza Anthem coming soon to a YouTube near you.
I've seen the preview of that one.
Yeah. Am I going to have to send that off to somebody I know?
You are, because it's fucking fantastic.
Oh, man. All right. Noted.
It makes the song 1,000 times better. It makes people who didn't like the song. You
got to. I mean, it's one of those things where, like, again, visuals just make it so much more impactful. And I would say the same thing that Nash did on Facebook about the new Eminem song. Like if you listen to that on Spotify, you'd turn it off instantly. I still don't like it, but the video itself kind of had all that nostalgia, and you're like, oh, yeah, all right, I see what you're doing. I appreciate it. I don't like it. I want to like it more than I do, but I can respect it.
I haven't listened to it yet. I've heard very little, like bits and pieces.
I haven't listened to it either. I meant to the other day and watched the video, but
me too, and I didn't.
Haven't yet. I talked about it and read about it on forums.
Yeah, I'd be curious what you guys think, because it feels like the world is pretty divided.
Yeah. I guess we get a Detroit perspective.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
our home
is going to be. If he did it for the nostalgia of it, that's probably why, though. Some people are torn because it's like it's supposed to have that effect because it is, isn't it number 2 of whatever the fuck song it is? Am I crazy? What's the song title?
I forget what it's Houdini is the song title.
Oh, okay.
But it basically sounds exactly like Without Me. And he kind of does a lot of that Without Me visually.
Okay, it's because I thought it was like this song, number 2, and I was like, what? I'm so confused. Again, I have not listened to it, obviously.
We'll have to dive into that another time. For Eminem, we know that D-Bird loves him some Eminem, though.
Yeah. I mean, as a white, kind of hard not to, right? Like, I think definitely a lot of us got our start listening to him, and then you can only get called Eminem so many times before you're like, I'm not Eminem.
Out of every rapper, I probably know more Eminem songs than anything, to be honest. Probably, especially from Michigan. So
yeah. True. Michigan goes ham on some Eminem, and apparently Kid Rock, and I fucking don't like him either. But Eminem.
For what it's worth, I do like Eminem, and because I have to. I'm legally obligated to like him. I think his new shit's just as good as old.
Yeah. So I heard it's kind of more throwback, more back to the old style. For your video.
Yeah.
Take another right. So for this moving forward, and you've done videos before, how I know that you said, adding, you love this song and you see it being, an anthem, basically, a stripper's anthem, a party anthem, whatever, whatever it may be, you see it being something like people are like, hey, go up to the DJ and say, play Help Me, how do you think this video will help you connect to your larger, narrative or story of your music with an audience? Like, how do you think this can propel the rest of your music or, your career or White Collar Rhymes? Being able to have this as a tool, I guess. Yeah.
I mean, I think that this is accessible and catchy. It's kind of that earworm music, right? So if you hear this and you like it, you're like, oh shit, okay, what else does this guy have? Like, that's kind of the idea, is this is something very digestible that, now with visuals, I think hopefully it can reach the most amount of people to then, get curious and dive into the rest of our backlogs, our catalogs. And then once you realize that, okay, this is, pretty surface level, like a banger, undeniably, but pretty surface level, discovering some of the deeper stuff. Not everyone will like it, but for those that see both sides of me, which I'm both. I love making party music and I love making more impactful poetry. So for those people that like both, they like me.
Party boy genre.
Yeah. It's hard to get away with both because they're basically polar opposites for the two different emotions. But I am nothing if not just a dual identity person.
You're Schmidt.
A Schmidt. Yeah.
You're Schmidt. You're Schmidt.
Do you know how many times I've been called that in my life?
That's funny.
Crazy.
Yep. Okay, everything makes sense now.
Yeah.
Everything makes sense.
Weird how you called that out because I've been called that so many times.
I love that show so fucking much. Oh, it is.
Okay.
What's your favorite pizza?
Ooh, Little Caesars hot and ready pepperoni with buffalo ranch sauce. All day.
Like on it or dunk?
No, you get the cups and you dunk it. So that way there's
and he'll make
buffalo
you try
ranch
it.
for every bite.
Meet D-Bird in person, be prepared to have his local Little Caesars and Buffalo Ranch because that's his delicacy.
When the crew came down, I was like, look, shut the fuck up. I know you guys are hungry. I got you. So I went and got like 4 Little Caesars pizzas with Buffalo Ranch cups for every person. Only a couple of them dipped it in the Buffalo Ranch. Nikki, did you have some? I know you were like, oh,
no, I don't do
Doesn't
Buffalo
like
Ranch.
spicy.
No.
Yeah.
The hot ones was hard enough for me. I almost passed out during that.
Oh yeah, we did a hot ones challenge. That was pretty fun.
Did you play the game?
Basically, we in Texas we had a somebody brought along the hot ones challenge, the sauces, and the chef that I hired to cater the thing actually cooked us dino nuggies in each of the sauces. So we went up one by one, and he did a little trivia game for us each round and told us just how hot the nuggies we were eating were.
That's cool.
And it was like freaking like rap and hip hop trivia, and I'm like, I don't fucking know. I don't know shit. I guess what?
How many did you eat, Nikki?
I had tried all of them, but I only ate the heads off of them.
Yeah, just a little nibble off of the arm of the dino.
Yeah, they were so hot. They gave me. I was lightheaded. I was dizzy. I was sitting next to Jacob. I'm like, I'm passed the fuck out.
There's a game. There's like
Almighty VA puked, so at least you weren't him.
Yeah, it was.
You didn't do the one chip challenge or anything? Do that next time.
I'm into it. I'm a sauce boss, baby. I'm a spice lord. Let's go.
Smoking's right there with you.
No one was a spice lord. No one was like freaking just. It's whatever. This is just my Tuesday lunch.
Oh yeah, that's how my partner is. You know that. Yeah. I can't. I can take a little buffalo. I can do, but ranch is. I don't know.
Buffalo ranch though, best sauce. 4 Little Caesar sauces.
Okay. All right. Little Caesars. Always Little Caesars.
Always.
The picture I drew of you that I never finished is you eating pizza.
You've captured my essence.
And mattresses and pizza. Actually, your mattresses are.
Yeah, the mattresses are in there. Do you still have them?
That's part of it.
They're somewhere. Yeah,
that's
I did.
It's lore.
It's weird. That is now WCR lore. The mattress.
Lore. Long lost are the mattress king.
Long lost mattress king. Aww. All right. So for your video, how do you think, or is there any specific like things that you had put in the video, like Easter eggs or any specific elements or symbolism besides, the money getting thrown at their faces and trying to class up the ass, that you put in there at all that anybody should pay attention to?
I wish I was cool enough to drop an Easter egg. If anyone finds an Easter egg, yeah, we totally meant to do that. Like that was totally on purpose. Whatever you little conspiracy fucks find. But no, we literally just wanted to and again, it kind of goes back to everything was just such a mad dash. It was like a couple of the locations we had fell through, and it was like day of, and we were just like scrambling to find like kind of luxury locations we should shoot in. So just again, everything kind of went wrong, and all we were trying to do was very simple. Let's get 2 beautiful women mouthing the lyrics in business suits at luxury locations. It's as simple as that. The money was kind of like let's do some cool visuals with that. But realistically, it was like, this is the core idea. Now let's hope to God that we can have a place to actually shoot this. And it just ended up coming together.
And that was in Portland?
Yeah. Yeah, so there was a parking garage which kind of had a really cool view of Portland skyline, which you saw at the beginning with the car. And then there was actually DJ Zone's girlfriend's apartment. She's living in one of those swanky high rises with like kind of a fire pit and like a cool view as well. So we captured the girls kind of sitting in chairs there. And then there was also some kind of hippy dippy Portland College, which has a cool mansion in the background. But I guess as far as behind the scenes, so we just wanted to kind of have this like nice picturesque lawn. We found these rusty old chairs, which were like, oh, perfect. Let's get the girls to sit in these. But there was actually some shitty folk band that was starting to play in the background. So we had to be careful not to get these like group of students and like their folk bands in the shots. And every time that we threw the money up to like kind of shower the girls with, it would go fucking everywhere because it was very windy. It was like kind of rainy. And so we'd like throw the money, and then me and John would run after it, pick up all of these like littered pieces of ones, hundreds on the ground. And so like the folk band and like their parents that were there watching them kept on kind of turning over, like watching this scene unfold of people throwing money in the air that isn't like obviously fake. They're just like, what the fuck is going on back there?
How do you not like whip out your phone and is like, what the fuck is this shit?
I'm sure many of them did. And it was so windy, we couldn't get all of the hundreds. So I'm sure somebody like ran across 100, like, oh, like.
Oh God, imagine them trying to use it.
Yeah.
There's no way that they would have, right? They did look really real.
They were I got them off of Amazon, and the only difference was it was like copy or like fake. It says like in purple print if you look on the front.
That'd be crazy.
But yeah, like it's pretty realistic. They use it in regular movies for that.
So the money is not real.
Not real. It's as real as you want it to be.
Oh, Monopoly money.
Hmm.
Nobody's real. Nothing's real.
Better.
Right. Yeah, I mean, money isn't backed by gold anymore, so what is it really,
Nothing. That's why you trade things.
Yeah.
Barter system.
Yeah.
Barters.
Anyone want a hot 16 for hot and ready?
Right.
Yeah.
A retail for some dinner.
Yeah.
For your video, how do you feel this fits into the larger body of work that you have released and are preparing to release? It seems like obviously I'm aware you're building huge things, but the audience might not be as aware of the big things that are popping for D-Bird coming up. How does this video and your EP fit into everything that you have going on?
Yeah, I mean, I think that this video for Healthy is probably the most accessible, catchy kind of introduction to what it is that I like to do, right? As far as the fun party music aspect of my personality and my artistry, this is a great introduction to that. The EP is a great introduction to my more heartfelt poems, my, sad boy, if you will, like the metaphors, the artistry, let's put some thought into what we're actually fucking saying. That's a good introduction to that. Once I have my album out, that'll be a good introduction to all of it and can kind of pick pieces that they like from that as well. And this is going to be the foundation for people to kind of go back when they're like, who's this D-Bird guy? They can go back and kind of reference these things that I've put out before. So as a lot of people know, we are currently in the process of releasing the White Collar Rhymes documentary. So what we're doing is basically getting some of the core artists, giving them the space to tell their stories, kind of showcase what happens when you rent a mansion and put 10 strangers from the internet and give them a week to live together and make an album, right? And so this is, kind of in the process of becoming really big. We've got a couple interesting deals on the table for this documentary itself. So the goal is, once people start to see that, once people have access to go and watch that, that they can then go back down the rabbit hole, learning more about each of the artists that was involved, as well as all the artists that weren't involved but are a part of the White Collar Rhymes community. So that's kind of, I view this, what we're doing right now, the foundation that people can kind of go on rabbit holes later to go discover.
No. I don't like
you look very amazed by everything. So for the documentary and everything, we'll kind of dive into that a little bit, if we could.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I know that, it's been not so like, hush hush. Everybody kind of knows about it and what's coming up. Can you tell us what, I guess, was the inspiration behind, creating the documentary from the beginning? I know we've kind of touched on it here and there, and you've kind of said it here and there, but I guess from the beginning, about the collective and, WCR and the collective that we're all part of, and how everybody came together, with, I know that it was this is your baby. So this is, let us know, give us a tell all of anything you feel comfortable from the beginning.
Yeah, for sure. So there's a very long version and a long version, which is slightly shorter. So I'll give it as condensed of a timeline as I can. Essentially, when White Collar Rhymes was formed, right, it was kind of, a bunch of the people that had made music back in the days on internet rap forums, from the early 2000s, right? A bunch of people who've never met before in real life, but kind of knew of each other, right? You'd post your songs on the internet into the same place. You'd see the same names popping up. You'd kind of get a sense of, oh, this person does this music, this person does that music. You're familiar, and you see the names kind of interacting with each other, right? Fast forward to when Cody Nash decided to throw a tournament for $500 and, kind of song versus song. He'd make topics on Sunday, say, here's three topics. You need to write and record a song based on one of these topics by the following Friday. And we did. That's kind of, I had taken a break from music, but I was like, oh, this is interesting. I remember Cody from back in the day. Let me, dip my old pen in the old company inkwell, not fucking my secretary, writing songs, of course. So while I'm fucking the shit out of my secretary writing these songs, allegedly. No, so, we did this rap tournament, and at the end of it, Jacob won, Young Great White Buffalo. That was kind of his introduction to White Collar Rhymes. And then from there, we kind of continued making music together, right? Like, these are people that we didn't really keep in touch with, other than like just being connected on the internet. After this tournament, we started making music, collaborating, just naturally, like, you're really dope. I want to work with you. Jacob, holy shit, awesome. Dice, oh my God, let's do songs. Before you know it, we have this collective of people all making music and kind of talking in the same kind of community. And that led to a podcast, which led to a music review show. And, before you know it, we're working so frequently together that somebody had the idea of, you know what? We should do this in person, right? Everyone has different recording setups. Everyone has different qualities. What if we just, rented a log cabin in Portland and just like all recorded together? And I kind of knew then, I was like, well, we have the talent and we have such diverse artists from different backgrounds. This would be really interesting to kind of capture that moment. But it can't be, some shitty shack in the woods, right? It needs to be a millionaire mansion. This is what I said from day one. I was like, yeah, great idea, but it has to be a mansion. I got that. And we have to film it. I got that. So basically I, gathered my savings. I hired a film crew. I rented the Airbnb and, basically said, hey, if you're a core member of White Collar Rhymes, come through, let's make an album. And that's kind of how it originated. And later on, we had a few additions to the close-knit family. Nikki, you being one of them. You started doing the podcast with us, started kind of becoming a core part of our little family here.
The healthy contest.
Entered the healthy contest, yelled at me. We yelled at each other until we became friends. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Did you not tell your sisters how your origin story?
Nobody knows Nikki WCR lore.
Okay, so
I'm sorry. What?
Not to sidetrack too much, but this is how Nikki got involved.
You guys made her really sad by telling her she sounded like she was down a well, and that's the only thing I heard.
Yeah, that's the short version.
Okay.
The real version, which is directly tied to me. So I put up, this is separately now, this is completely sidetrack story. We were doing a promotional contest for the White Collar Rhymes community where I put up $800 of my own money to just reward people for engaging with our community, right? The first place person that we would decide on a panel of judges would win $500, second place, $200, third place, $100 out of my own pocket. And what we did was hey, we have these jams. We want people to familiarize themselves with it. So it's kind of a promotion for our own music, Healthy being one of them, Dumbin' Out being another. And there was one other beat that I forget. But we're like, you take these beats and you make your own song to it. We will go through as a panel and we'll basically choose, first place, second place, third place. Well, we got above the law. We got, 30 to 40 submissions of different people wanting to, participate and compete. Well, we couldn't just sit there and, give feedback to all of them. That's not what it was. It was like, who am I giving my money to? Right?
Who won?
Who won?
Not review.
So we did 2 sessions, live streamed it. No judges that I know of have done a contest and live reacted and then live given rankings.
I've never entered a contest before in my life.
This is how crazy this is, right? So the first stream, we were just going through to narrow it down. So instead of 40 people to listen to all the way through and kind of give feedback and give ratings, we're just figuring out who moves on to the next round, right? So Nikki in her...
Did you have brackets or something?
I didn't watch it live because I was driving to Arkansas to bring Zodi blankets, and I watched it when I got back.
So what happened was we're just decided, there's like 4 of us on the panel, I think. And we're just like, who moves on, right? And it's just kind of like the majority kind of, let's just give our first impressions. Do we give it a second listen or not? Nikki decides, because she's connected to Cody Nash on TikTok, let's just try to make a rap. Let's try it. My first rap ever. Never done it. Here's a beat. I don't know what I'm doing.
I didn't even have a DAW. It was like on my phone, and I used BandLab, and it was like
they tore you apart.
It was so bad. I listened to it. I still have it. I listen to it all the time, and I listen to the feedback all the time.
In her ever-loving enthusiasm, she's like, I know, I'll try my hand at rapping for the first time ever. Why not? So we heard it. Yeah, it sounds exactly like what she describes. Oh, you're recording on BandLabs through a phone, your first rap ever. We're like, nope, next. She comes in hot to the community, being like, what the hell? You guys didn't even give me feedback. You didn't tell me, like, why were you so mean? And I was like, okay, I'm giving out $800 of my own money for
It
no
was
other reason
ADHD
than
that instigated me that whole time.
I was like,
it's ADHD.
I was just like, this is my way of giving back to the community. If someone's so like, I deserve this, I was pissed. I was like, you don't deserve my money or my attention. This is volunteerism. And so me and Crit hammered Nikki, got real mad at her. Dice actually was the one that's like, hey, calm down, guys. This is a new person.
Of course he was.
She doesn't know what's up.
Dice is like, she wanted feedback. Like, it was a misunderstanding. Like, don't be a dick.
This is why
And then
Dice
JDHD was just going at me. JDHD was the only reason I was fired up. And that was literally it.
Yeah.
I was like, who the fuck are you even? You weren't even up there. Shut the fuck.
Yeah, that guy was just a person in the community who was rallying you up. So.
Like pushing buttons, like you're entitled, like let me guess, you're fucking born after the 90s. Like I'm like, fuck you. Like you don't even know me.
Yeah, so that's kind of how Nikki got her start.
That's how Nikki got
Dice calmed us all down. He made it cool with Nikki. She stuck around, continued talking. Before you know it, she's on podcasts, and we're great friends. So that was Nikki's start. And then the other one was Passive the Rapper. We just heard him through the music review show we do every Wednesday.
How did he find you guys?
Just through streaming. So through Twitch, he saw we were doing a music review, submitted a song, submitted another song. Before you know it, Dice, we all heard the talent instantly. And Dice was like, the only thing holding this guy back is his quality. So he sent a DAW, he sent recording equipment over to Passive. Passive recorded a thank you like within a day. And before you know it, he's kind of like really engaged with the community, and he ended up coming to the documentary filming as well. So it was all like just a bunch of old people that knew each other from before, and kind of Nikki, Passive, and then of course Jacob, who was a recent addition once he won the tournament.
So the community is growing. Community
has grown by 2,000% in the last 2 years. That's crazy.
It has got huge. Any other guests that were in Texas that may not be active in the community, and possibly if you could give a little backstory to DJ Zone you've brought up, and Ness was there.
Yeah, I don't know who those people are.
Yeah,
who are they?
Yeah, that's a great point. So DJ Zone is my personal audio engineer and current roommate. Shout out Zone. So I've been recording with him in Portland's best scratch DJ, best audio engineer that you'll find here, maybe anywhere. So I've been recording with him for years and years and years. And once I came up with this idea of, we're going to make an actual documentary, I knew that like, sure, Dice can engineer. Sure, Jacob can engineer. But having a dedicated engineer there who, to kind of free them up to be able to write, to be able to record, right? I think that I knew that was going to be an important piece of this. So that's kind of when I extended the invite to DJ Zone, who was, kind of my personal friends, who then became a part of the community. And then Ness Lee, famous battle rapper, one of my favorites from back in the day, to be honest. Ness Lee ended up coming as well, who was a personal friend of Almighty VA. So Almighty VA and Ness go way back forever, close personal friends. And Ness Lee kind of knew a lot of some of the people, some of the older folk from the forum days, because he used to post on some of these internet forums where we'd share music. So, it wasn't just complete strangers. It was like, oh, yeah, I remember you from back in the day. But the real connection there, the real reason he became part of this was because he had that tight connection with Almighty VA. And then when I ended up calling him and kind of pitching him on the idea, he was in. He just needed to just make sure that, hey, if I'm gonna miss a week of work, like I'm good, right? Like, so it was just all about, can you take the time off to come live in infamy?
Because there's a couple people that didn't make it, right?
Yeah,
Some big people that didn't make the documentary because they couldn't, for obvious reasons or for whatever reasons.
Even that, with those reasonings, with kind of ties into everything around WCR and the documentary. How does it explore, I guess, how does the documentary help explore and show the challenges and triumphs of chasing your dreams versus life while you're trying to do something in the music industry?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the through line of the documentary, right, is that none of us are full-time musicians, right? Like DJ Zone is, he lives and breathes music, but, pretty much everyone has full-time jobs, right? A lot of people have families, they sacrificed a lot just to be there for a week and a half, whether that's pay from their jobs, time away from friends, family, whatever it is, right? A lot of people sacrifice to be a part of this. And, I think that there's this image that people have in their heads of a rapper, which is like, some Tupac figure with a bandana just shooting a gun off, or like, some crazed drug sex addict. It's like, no, you could just be a normal person with everyday responsibilities with a 9-to-5 job and also be super dope at rapping. So I kind of wanted to explore that and show the humanity of these very talented artists. What are they missing from back home? What does their day job look like? What does their every day look like? You're not rapping into a microphone 9-to-5. Maybe you're just joking around with your kids, braiding your daughter's hair, right? So I thought that the humanizing aspect of rap is something that's kind of missed in the genre because, it's so braggadocious. It's so my life is this in the mainstream that you see. It's so rare when you hear of just normal people and normal problems. And that's kind of what is the heart of the documentary, which is also why a couple people weren't able to make it, because their real life is real. They couldn't leave their job. They couldn't leave their family to fend for a week and a half without them. So a couple of the members that we really wanted there couldn't come that time. Hopefully for season 2, they'll be able to join us.
Well, that's what WCR is all about, I feel like, is people that have regular lives coming together, because the only time you guys have is a couple hours to hop online, and collab, talk, and do all the things. Sorry.
Totally.
Go ahead.
Oh, I said regular lives suck.
Oh, truth.
For the documentary, for your personal experience, what was your experience like during the filming process? We all obviously had our own different experiences and different things we dealt with there. Were there any moments or challenges that you faced that maybe we didn't see you face, or that maybe we did, that you'd like to dive a little deeper in that wasn't dove into in the documentary?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a little challenging for me because I had to have my producer hat, my director hat, as well as my artist hat, right? Like I wanted to get drunk, and I did. I did and wanted to get drunk and just party and make music with you guys. I did a lot of that while we were there. But at the same time, there was a lot of the logistical stuff that I had to be in charge of as well. So I was, routinely going over to the other house to talk to the camera crew and give expectations. I was going over and when somebody needed something from the store of like, yo, we are out of this, or we need more of that. Like it was me who was saying, okay, let's go to the store. I'm going to pick that up. So there was a lot of kind of logistical stuff that I kind of had to do outside of like, let's just party and have fun and make music with my friends. Because at the end of the day, we needed to have a digestible story to tell as well, right? It can't just be We spent all this money to go party in a house, and yeah, we made some music, but who cares, right? It also couldn't be, let's just record each person going into the booth 24/7 either, because that's not a story. That's kind of fucking boring. It's like if you just record D Bird spitting the same verse for 2 hours, what does that do? That does nothing. So yeah, there was a lot of that of like, okay, how I was thinking of like, how can we make this interesting? How can we, get these people into some scenarios which maybe they aren't familiar with? This is why we went wine tasting. This is why we went to Texas barbecue. This is why we fucked around in like a Walmart and went to a hat store, a Cavender's, shout out Cavender's. Just put on a cowboy boot and just like, oh, I'm from Texas. It's just dumb shit like that to kind of fill in the space around the larger meaning, but also to kind of just put some color commentary into who are these people really outside of their artistry.
You gotta have some silly hat times,
Yeah. Some side
quests.
Yeah, some side quests.
Side quests for sure.
And at the end of the day, like, one of the things that makes this so special is that we're all friends too. So it's getting the genuine interactions of everyone as they're out just being friends with each other, right?
Well, and this is the first time you guys got to like in front of each other, essentially, right?
Yeah,
that's a big driving force too, and a great point out is like, yeah, this is also the first time any of us are meeting for the first time in person.
They saw my psycho in person and still love me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
like, anything could have happened. Like we could have gotten in fights. We could have, anything could have happened. And I'm so happy with how it turned out.
You came in hot right from the get-go, apparently, Nikki. So they were not surprised, I'm sure.
I tried.
When you got overwhelmed.
Could you imagine if I didn't do like meditation and yoga?
I've seen you when you didn't do meditation and yoga. We've been around each other for a long time.
I feel like the thing that surprised me about Nikki, which shouldn't have been a surprise, but was just how much she smiled. I don't think she ever didn't smile through the whole time. I literally would skip through the house. You're like, walk like a normal.
Like a normal.
Walk like a normal.
I just get excited. It was fun. I woke up every morning like that. Like, especially in the energy of that, like I was just like, oh, let's go.
Yeah. That was a great time.
Go.
I heard you woke her up in the middle of the night to shoot a music video.
Yeah.
That's true. Fault lines. Yeah, we
How was that? How did that happen? And like, did you just barge in? It was like, hey, wake up.
Kind of exactly.
I was in my clothes though and everything. I was like literally my day old makeup. I was like, it was the first night I went to bed early.
Yeah. So I was out there chatting with the camera crew, and they were like, you have something special with this song. And I kind of believe it. I love that song. Fault Lines is a jam. And we started talking about like, oh, okay, well, you're already here. His specialty, one of the camera crews, actually two of the guys, Mitch and Skylar, both of them specialize in music videos. So, they were just kind of a friend of a friend, the connection that got them there. But normally what they do is music videos. So we started talking about it, decided, yeah, fuck it. I think I had been drinking at the time. So I was like, yeah, let's do it. Let's do a music video right now. Let's go. And then I barged in the door, tapped Nikki on the shoulder, who was fully clothed. And then we just kind of took turns doing some fun scenes. A lot of water stuff, which I don't know if the music video really shows, but we like hopped in the pool in our clothes, hopped in the shower in our clothes. We were just like fully clothed and wet for a while.
Was it warm at least? Was it cold?
It was warm.
No,
It
it
was
was
warm.
warm. It was
Oh,
good.
man, fuck it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Here it would have been freezing. Hell no.
Yeah.
What was your experience with Fault Line's music video, Nikki?
I felt like I woke up out of a blur and was like, all right, let's go. And like at first I was like, I don't really know what to do. Like I was just kind of like, what do I do? And then we end up getting into it more. And I felt like, the more I got into it, the more like creative we got with it, where, it wasn't just being told what to do, where we started kind of like being like, let's try this, and just got into it more. I just loved it. I didn't want it to end. It was so much fun.
You guys were bouncing ideas off each other while you were trying to
Yeah, it was. I think that it was just. I don't know, we just kind of went with it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Spontaneity is always sometimes the best.
Yeah, that's
It's always sometimes.
I gotta change. And he's like, no, you're fine. He's like, you're wearing your Converse in all black. It's what I'm wearing, and I'm like, all right.
That's funny.
So it worked. It ended up working out perfectly. I thought that it was good. I had fun with it.
Hell yeah.
And it ended up looking really I've watched it a few times. I like it.
It was so much fun acting too. Like, I was like, I loved it. It was so much fun.
Did you play mermaids in the pool at some point while you were doing this?
No, I think me and Deeper were the only ones that actually like swam the whole time.
Yeah. Well, and part of that was like, Nikki, I need some Tinder pictures. you take a photo of me shirtless.
I'm
like, the best angles.
He's like, I'm gonna sit on this waterfall. I'm like, all right, I'll go.
Yeah. I don't think I used any of them. I was like, nah, too douchey.
There we get pictures out.
Yeah.
Too douchey.
Yeah.
Would you have felt comfortable asking anybody else there other than Nikki to take your Tinder profile pictures?
I think Jacob actually took one for me as well.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Jacob
I don't know. I have no shame to my game in those days.
That's funny. Tinder. Oh man, I've never even experienced. How's that?
Not missing much.
Okay.
Never done that.
That's crazy to even think
Stay
about.
away if you can.
No, thank you.
No,
I'll be alone forever.
Yeah.
Where I'll be
Never
alone.
been the online dating type. For the documentary. So I know that it's being, worked, pushed, everything from the back and everything. When it does, get released. How do you hope that the documentary will impact the perception of our collective, of White Collar Rhymes, and the music within the industry, especially everything going on in the industry right now, and among fans, and seeing maybe the different side that they don't see?
Yeah, I mean, I think the documentary does a great job of normalizing rappers, right? It's one of those things where, like I said, I think the stereotypes are the first thing that come to head when people says, "Oh, D-Bird's a rapper," right? Nothing more cringy than when a mutual acquaintance is like, "Oh, hey, Fred. Oh, this is my friend David. He's a rapper." You're like, "Oh, no, I'm fucking not. Shut up." Like, you say we're friends, we're not anymore. Like, we're fighting now. So I think it, hopefully, if there was any impact, that like it at least shows that normal people can do this art form as well. I also think that it's really important to, just kind of get normal people's stories out there. I think there's no media that I know of that really dives deep into, the process of making an album, the process of recording, right? What is it like when a bunch of strangers get together and try to have a meeting of the minds for what the album's going to look like, right? At the very end, we had to choose unanimously what songs that we made while we were there make it onto the project associated with it. How do you do that with 10 strangers from 10 different backgrounds?
And agree on it.
And you write them all in a book and then notate how many everybody has and then get upset.
I would have put them all in a hat and picked them.
That's another solution for sure.
Literally a gamble. Well, I guess this is the third one. Okay, write it down.
We listened to a lot of songs. It took us a while to listen through them.
How many songs overall, all
So,
together?
All together, we made, I think, 32.
32?
We made 32, and there's 18 with there's 17 songs with the 18th being a hidden track that'll make the last mixtape project. So we're releasing kind of an album or a mixtape, I guess. We're releasing a project from the recordings that we did while we were in that Airbnb in Texas. There's the album that goes with the documentary, so those will go side and side. And then
they're being released together?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So there's 18 songs that we unanimously chose. This is the last mixtape. And then there's 17 other songs that we recorded that didn't make that some of those are, some of my favorites, but it just wasn't unanimous. So that's, also a separate project that we'll be releasing soon.
Nice. I can't wait. Oh, especially because there's so many artists that are on it, because it'll be a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I like that. I like variety. I love that.
It's a lot of everything. I love it.
There's so many different styles on there. It's crazy.
There is a lot. It's not one, you can't, it's like a bubblegum machine. You'll get every color. just keep listening. For the title of the film, the title of the documentary, the album, I guess mixtape, not the album. Can you discuss the significance of the title in your mind with how it relates to the overall message or theme of the actual, documentary, the project, I guess?
Definitely. Yeah. It feels like, hip hop, I don't want to say it's at a crossroads, but, there's definitely kind of an old school way of doing things and a new school way of doing things, especially, the more that I do weekly music review shows and see kind of some of these younger artists, submitting songs that were influenced by some of these newer artists, there's definitely kind of two schools of hip hop. And I would say that a lot of us that are part of this community, White Collar Rhymes, a lot of us are a little bit older, a little bit more geared towards the old school way of doing things. And, back in our day, mixtapes were a thing. Physical CDs, you could go to a store to purchase a physical thing called a compact disc. You'd put it in a car or a Walkman, all of these foreign terms.
Don't make me feel old. Damn.
So, the last mixtape was kind of an homage to this era of, we're kind of the last of a dying era, if you will, of like this old school way of making music. There's definitely some new school sounds in what we do and some artists that are newer school, right? But I would say that the last mixtape is kind of this is a bunch of oldies getting together, making the sounds that they love, and it's kind of a tribute to that.
Do you like that the younger people a part of the collective are like bringing that new genre to the older people and teaching new things or new sounds or new lyrics, a new way of looking at it than like the older crowd that is a part of the collective wouldn't normally look at?
100%. I love the fact that we have so many different influences, so many different styles. I learn a lot every week, as we're getting new submissions. I can even, some of the songs, maybe it's not the type of music I would search out or that I resonate with, but you can kind of tell when there's something there. And so that's really exciting when you get those little bits that you're like, oh, I didn't think of it this way, or, oh, I could use this sort of style in my approach as well. Always learning and always interested to see, when people do good things rather than bad.
I like that. I like that the older, almost like the old school and the new school are meshing and meshing well.
One thing that, I've learned since my time at White Collar Rhymes, I think Dice really hit it into my head. As we're listening to some of these newer artists with different approaches, we have very different rating scales. And so some of the stuff he would rate a little higher than me, where maybe it's not very lyrically focused. He's focused on the tones. How does it sound? And so I started thinking more of that in my own music of, I can write really fancy words or really flowy poetry, but, at the end of the day, you still have to connect with people. And if you can connect with people using less words, that's even more impactful sometimes than, writing some big paragraph about it.
Who said that if you are a specialist in something or you know something so well, you can explain it to a toddler and they will understand it? Essentially, it's that.
Well, now it's you, Vulgr. You said it. You can just own that quote. That's your quote.
Mine.
Now.
Yeah.
For the last mixtape, is there any specific moments or scenes that you feel like will resonate with viewers more at a deeper level?
Couple of them. So, I've done a little,
giving too much away.
Yeah.
I've done a little market research, and by market research, I mean allegedly. I gave a little preview to some of my best friends, closest loved ones. Just had them over, hosted a party, and said, "Here's this crazy thing that I told you I worked on, last summer." And it's really interesting because, to them, you guys are just characters, right? You're just characters on a TV screen. They don't know you, but everyone seemed to resonate with different people, and some of them consistently. I would say that, Nikki, your storyline of, when you're talking about kind of your struggles with being supported by a partner, right? Kind of your journey for music. Your storyline was very impactful. A lot of people really resonated with that, as well as Almighty VA. His goofball shenanigans people loved. They're like, "Oh, look at this guy, he's so fun." But also
beat their ass.
yeah, like that. So good. But also like the serious parts where he's like, "Look, I take this seriously. Like, this is an art. This art saved my life. I have PTSD. I'm a veteran. Like, this shit is life to me." And I think a lot of people really resonated with that as well. So at the end of the day, everyone has, and this is the way I wanted it, was this isn't just a documentary about making an album. This is telling the story of artists who have a 9-to-5 that aren't, aside from Nestle, aren't internationally known. And I would argue Nestle should be way bigger for his talent level than like the casual rap fan knows.
We got lucky to know him.
Yeah, like I feel so honored to have made music with him and to have him be a part of this. But, that's just kind of, I think, the biggest heart of the documentary. It isn't about making an album. It's about the artists that made the album and their journey to how they got there.
Well, that's what the documentary is all about, essentially. It's getting deeper. It's not surface level, right?
Yeah, exactly.
From what I understand, anyway. When is there a date? Is there a date?
There's no release date yet. I do expect that this will be available by the end of the year. I'm expecting this will be available. So coming to a screen near you.
Anticipation.
Yeah. It's fire. It's good. I'm not going to lie. Like, this is one of the proudest things I've ever done. I had this idea. I had a baby. I nurtured that baby, sent it off to college. And now this baby is hopefully going to get a full-time job and a loving wife that supports it.
That's awesome. That, you did the thing. You did the thing that you wanted to do.
I did the thing, and I only hope that I did all the people that I love in this project justice by telling their story in the way that they wanted it. I think it really portrays everyone as who they are, right? There's no gotcha edits. It's all like, these are who these people are. And I think everyone falls in love with the stories.
Well, that's the thing with like, unless you're watching like a documentary, all the media that you're going to see on like, that's like real people, that's supposed to be like, oh, this is, real life. It's like scripted. It's scripted. You can tell it's scripted. It's they're doing it on purpose. And that's where like the genuinity is lost. And it's like, oh, this again, you regurgitated this. You can tell it's bad. It's like, like cringe, but for, I think the aspect of the documentary is like you said, you guys are genuine in it from, which is, I want to see it. That's why I asked. I'm like, when is it? When's the album dropping?
But like, especially for online, the online community, there's so much negativity about online communities and people coming together and doing stuff like this. Like, if
usually like toxicity.
Anybody from the outside looking in, oh yeah, I'm gonna go stay in a house for 10 days with a bunch of dudes that I met online.
Yeah.
And you told me that. I don't think I was part of WCR, the community yet. And I was like, who has your location? Where exactly are you gonna be?
Yeah.
I need to know.
Yeah,
kind of crazy. I would have told you not to do it.
Cluing in like every so often, give me a text every day. She did.
I had no. I don't think that I had any reservations whatsoever, except for like, I need to make sure I can get off work.
Yeah, she was like, "Peace out, I'm going." I'm like,
no question. It was no question. I think that I called you within like an hour. For the documentary and the collective as a whole, the role of collaboration on what it played in obviously creating the documentary and keeping the collectively intact. Can you discuss the role of the support and that collaboration within WCR from your perspective?
Can you explain that a little bit? The support?
Like between the documentary and even WCR as a whole collective, the role that collaboration and support that people play as being a part of the collective to, I guess, make it successful and what it is today.
Yeah, I think what's really dope about White Collar Rhymes is that everyone is so willing to work with each other. Everyone's super talented, and even though we all come from extremely different backgrounds and have extremely different styles, I think that's kind of what makes it work. You know what I mean? It's like my style, maybe me and Cody Nash are a little similar, but like kind of that's as close as you get to any two styles that are the same. Me and Dice could not be further apart. Like it just, you name anybody as part of the collective, you're like, oh yeah, completely different. But at the same time, everyone's so excited to work together, and everyone's genuine fans of each other. Like there's no one that's bad at WCR. Like we're all super talented, and I think everyone's really excited to help each other too, right? There's always conversations going of how do I make this better? How do I need somebody on a hook, and then somebody raises their hand. So that translated in person into the filming of the documentary, where basically we rented this mansion. We retrofitted 2 of the rooms in the mansion, made them into homemade studios with just different things to sound dampen and, magic to engineer. But yeah, exactly right there. Yeah. The magic eyeball did wonders for us. So you know, you'd wander into a room and somebody would be working on something and you're like, oh, I like this. Yeah, I want to be a part of this. And there was never any like, nah, the seat's taken, you know? So I think it's that support and that genuine like willingness to work together that kind of makes WCR work as a whole.
Mm. Yeah,
So
I
there's no
definitely agree
shunning.
with that. Oh, what?
Yeah, no shitty people.
I said no shunnings.
Oh, I heard
No.
shitty. Yeah, there's no shitty people that we shun.
There you go.
Oh,
Yeah.
can't say no shitting, but no shitty people, no shuns.
How'd you start rap battles?
Rap battles?
Yeah.
How did you get doing rap battles?
How'd you start?
Yeah, so there was an internet forum back in the day called Rap Battles, ironically, rapbattles.com, shout out. That's actually where I first got my start into kind of underground hip hop, into learning more about, you know, the art form, how to record, the technical aspects of it. There was just a bunch of people on there that were super talented underground artists making music from their basement or whatever. And, you know, willing to share tricks on how to do it good. So that's kind of where I met Cody Nash. That's where a lot of us kind of ran into each other. Paradise was out there, I know. You know, rapmusic.com, Nestle, Almighty VA, all of these people were figureheads in these internet forums in the early 2000s. As part of these forums, one way that, you know, people would kind of sharpen the pen, keep their talents sharp, is there was written kind of rap battles. They'd say you have 1 hour to write 16 lines of the worst shit you could think of for this random internet screen name, right? And then you'd enter into a online written rap battle versus whoever agreed to it. And that was my start in battling. And then, of course, as you start to, you know, get comfortable writing disses, the next logical step is once you start recording music, once you get comfortable with your voice, then you start projecting the things that you would write down. So you'd have head-to-head rap battles on this same medium. And then that transitioned on the same website into video battles, which some of the members on our Discord actually participated in as well back in the day.
Are any of these archived?
They're out there somewhere.
They're out there somewhere? I have to go search for them?
The old D-Bird, you know, me shitting on internet rappers. I'm sure there's a couple of videos out there. But that was really kind of my experience with battling. And then, you know, I realized that I kind of had more passion towards things that are real to me and things that mean something to me. So I kind of focused all of my energy into writing songs that I was passionate about versus like, it kind of became like homework, right? It's like, I don't actually care about this person I'm paired up against. I don't have anything against them. So it's like, oh, fuck, I'm going to spend my night writing and recording something to diss this stranger on the internet for why?
When you could be doing something productive and actually writing a song for you. Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
So that was kind of, you know, where I got out of the battling and just more into making music for myself.
Nice. So that's the origin story.
That's the origin story.
That's how D-Bird took flight.
Yeah. Yeah.
God, I would have cried in rap battles.
Not a Nikki format for sure. You're like, can't I say something nice?
That would.
I could have shaken out the whole rap battle world and just done female compliment battles.
Female compliment battles?
Just tear you apart with just compliments.
Kill them with kindness.
So there's a market for it.
Flower, motherfucker.
Why you so hot, bitch? Why are your teeth so white, D-Bird, asshole?
You look like you can clean real good.
You taste like Little Caesars.
I don't know if that's a compliment, but thank you. To me, it is. To me, it is.
So for D-Bird, we know that we have the documentary coming out. We just had, the Heartbreak Kid EP come out. You just had Healthy release music videos. What can you give us a sneak peek into what we can expect next? Your Little Caesars video? Anything else that you have that you're working on right now?
Is that not enough? Shit.
We need more.
Never enough, D-Bird.
I'm just kidding.
You should know it's never enough.
So I do have the Little Caesars music video dropping soon. So that will be kind of in tandem with my album, my first full studio album, fully functioning adult rapper. So that should be released before the end of the year. I'm hoping, within the next, say, 3 to 4 months, I'll have that out. So that'll be something I'm really excited by. And then from there, I'll, see which songs I want to make videos into and put those videos in front of your eyeballs.
My eyeballs will be waiting.
For your next album, do you have your track list for it? Do you know what's going on it yet?
Do you have songs already?
I've got a bunch of songs.
Right?
Little Caesars might be just a single. I think that's the single. The single to promote the album. But on the actual album, I've got probably about half of it finished. I would have had a full album, but I was like I said, I don't want all these breakup songs on one album. Like, that's just fucking depressing. So let's so
the ones that you have are breakup songs.
There are more breakup songs on there.
More sad boy music.
Yeah, there's definitely more sad boy music on the way in the album as well. I can't help it. I got a genre. I got a style.
Well, I like it. So, no complaints.
Hell yeah.
I do too. I have no complaints either. I love me some D-Bird rasp. Some post-COVID rasp.
Yeah.
Do you know that WCR lore, Vulgr?
No. What?
Change Bird's voice.
What?
Yeah. Kind of crazy.
Changed it how?
So,
now I'm gonna have to go back and listen to some old shit.
If you listen, anything kind of 2020, maybe a little bit before, my voice was like a little bit more high pitched, didn't have as much raspiness in it. I caught COVID. Next thing you know, it's like I rap like this.
So it got better, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, it got dope as fuck. COVID actually did me a huge favor
for your rap career.
Yeah. So I got a dope rapper voice thanks to COVID. Shout out COVID.
At least you took something positive from it.
Yeah. I don't know. It did change my voice, made it more raspy, and I guess I never really noticed it in day-to-day, just talking. I think it probably affected that too. But definitely for the rapping, it's a totally different sound if you compare before and after.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But don't you want a rougher voice rapping anyway? You don't,
I like it. Yeah, I like the voice, how it came out.
He's just like, yeah.
He's like, I'm more rugged. I like it.
No. He's like, ladies.
He's
oh, wait, no.
Oh, my God.
Bieber is not working on a heartbreak anymore. He is happy.
Can always tap into the heartbreak well.
So to, I guess, come back full circle, you've done a lot in music over the years, however long you've been in music, 20 plus years.
20 plus?
Almost. Yeah, I started when I was 16. So, oh shit. Yeah, that is 20 plus.
Nah.
It's really fun. Is there anything specific? You've done obviously your individual stuff. You've worked with a collective. You've made music videos. Is there any advice that you can give to aspiring artists who are considered either chasing dreams, either solo or joining a collective? I guess vice versa, both, either or advice.
One, join the White Collar Rhymes Discord. You'll learn everything you need to know and some of the shit you don't. So that's the first and foremost. I would say writing fucking matters. Writing matters. I don't give a shit what Dice says. It's not only how you say it, but it's what you say. And I think that a lot of people that are coming from kind of a newer influence see these artists who, you know, are rapping about drugs, kind of doing it half-heartedly, and they try to emulate that style, kind of sing-songing some lyrics about taking Xanax. There's nothing inherently wrong in my mind about making a Xanax song. Shit, Lil White, Oxycontin was the jam back in the day. That
because it was more than just like doped up on Xanax.
And I didn't even do those, and I still know that fucking song.
And that's like
yeah. Yeah, the difference is details. So I would just say that writing fucking matters, and how you turn bad writing into good writing is you provide details. I say it every stream, it seems, you know, when someone's like, I fucked your bitch, she sucked my dick. It's like, okay, how can we expand upon this? Did you fuck his bitch in the basement of his grandma's, you know, townhome in Brooklyn? You know, like that's just instantly more interesting than I fucked your bitch. Right? And that's just the dumbest thing I can come up with off the top of my head. Now, there's a million different ways to say anything. The more details you provide, the more interesting it is. I think that's something to just inherently own as you're starting to make songs. Think about, how am I saying things? Is it going to be boring as a million other people could do the same thing? Or am I creating a unique sound that's authentic to me?
I like that. Details, writing matters, be authentic.
Yeah, that's a great summary.
D-Bird's Toolkit. 1, 2, 3. We did 5 for Nash's Toolkit. If you think of 2 more, let us know. I did have one more question for you before we round out. Is there any, obviously networking is huge, you know, for any type of career, any advice, actually before advice, any experiences or insights that networking has got you to being able to do something cool or fun in any of your music experiences, or any specific live performances you've done that you'd like to maybe go into further detail about, that would be something cool for newer artists to hear, that is opportunities that they could possibly have one day?
I would say that, you know, for me, like I said, music wasn't a full-time gig. I actually took a break from it from a long time. I kind of use music as a way to, you know, express myself, and then have learned over time how to make it, instead of just a personal journal of me, you know, expressing my woes and my emotions, find a way to kind of make it more accessible to other people who are listening to it as well. So I would say there's no, like, you know, defining moment or performance, because that was never my passion in music, is performing. My passion's always been about writing and making the best music I can. As far as the connections go, though, I think that, you know, through the community, you know, we have so many collective connections as a whole. So, you know, making music with Nestle, having him be a part of the documentary, that was huge for me personally, having been a fan of his for a long time. You know, Loose Logic, insanely talented core member of White Collar Rhymes. You know, this is a guy that I remember listening to back in the forum days and just being blown away at how talented he was. You know, he's a little bit older and just more established. Same thing. It's like, oh, you know, this is my friend now who I get to make music with. So I think that the community as a whole does a great job of kind of having all these people, very accessible, very, willing to work and to help. So any newer artists out there that are looking for, tips from established people who have been around, there's hundreds of thousands of years of collective music knowledge bundled up into these big brain motherfuckers. I'm probably the last one to talk about the connections I know, other than my friends have crazy connections and crazy experiences that I've learned a lot from, and hopefully other people can too.
Well, your connections have helped you even with the documentary too. So there's so many different aspects networking is very important.
The documentary itself was all networking. So that was, from everyone I was connected to in the community, Zone I was connected to being my engineer. And then on the production aspect, it was really random how it all came together. Again, my friend from college, he was in my fraternity, Hardy, shout out, Suckabee. He, is a full-time producer down in Los Angeles. So I knew when I had this idea that my buddy Hardy would know more about the video production aspect of it. So I immediately, told him of the idea. He loved it right away. And then all of his connections, Gabe, Mitch, Skylar, Ori, he brought his people in to kind of help us film the thing. And, one of my old improv buddies tossed out a name after it was all filmed and all done. Now we had to have an editor make sense of the whole thing. So one of my old improv buddies, who then became my landlord, then became my real estate agent, he's also involved in the film industry. And so he tossed out a couple names. The first two didn't work. The third one, though, he tossed 3 different names out before we could find an editor who turned out to be the perfect person to make sense of what we filmed, because he does music video documentaries. He's in a band himself, so he gets the music aspect of it. And he has all the technical skills to know how to colorize and make the shit look good. So, yeah, that's kind of the perfect example of networking in the film part of it.
I don't know anybody. I couldn't do that. I don't know people.
But you know me, and I know people. So that's networking.
You knew a connection at Little Caesars.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Also networking. Yeah.
Networking gets you further than skill sometimes, I feel like.
It's who you know, yeah. And who it is.
I 100% tell that to anybody who's talking about jobs, talking about, how did you get where you are? Like, it's all about networking. It's all about making connections. And I wouldn't be where I'm at today. Music aside, like life shit, I wouldn't be where I'm at today if networking wasn't such a huge part of it.
I mean, and look at us. Here we are networking in a collective and bringing other artists to network and collectively collect together.
I wish more people took advantage of it, to be honest. I feel like some people see the community as just a way to throw their shitty freestyled music onto a reaction live stream and just see a bunch of old people turn their faces sideways. It's like, that's one way to look at it. The other is you have thousands of hours of collective experience who could actually teach you a thing or two and connect you to the artists that you like. Yeah.
Right. So many different artists have taken the higher end of that, seeing the potential, because that's what, even in our shows, I'm like, you guys network when you're in the chat. Like, where are you from? What do you do? Like, how can you help each other? We can only make it if we help each other.
Dude, you need beats. We have 1,000 producers in the community. You need technical advice. We have a bunch of engineers who can tell you what you're doing wrong. You need a feature. We got that. Like, we have so many things that are so valuable to people that I just wish more people would take advantage of. But I do love the people that get it. Ray and Rogue found us randomly, have a joint album on the way, right? Ray and AWOL another kind of just random collaborations like, hey, I like your style. Let's work together. That's what it's all about.
That is facts. That's all it is us all coming together and creating something together. Because us going in at a big front on this is way easier than alone. Well, I just
Discord is not great, by the way.
What?
I've tried looking for other Discords. They're all pervy and weird. And no thank you.
So even if you don't do music, y'all, come join our Discord. We have gamers, we have listeners, we have people that just come and hang out. We have so many different types of people and groups in our Discord, and it's really good.
And we have pervy weirdos.
And pervy
weirdos.
It's not as pervy weirdos as other Discords.
Not as many. And that's a plus.
That should be the tagline. That's like the selling point. Not as many pervy weirdos. White collar rhymes.
Not saying there's none. But
not saying there's none. Right.
But thank you so much for coming on the Nikey Joe Show to do an interview and let us dive deeper into your mind, creative process, your life, and tell us everything about everything. I really appreciate it. It was a really good time. I'm sure that Vulgr got some nice content from it, as well as the community that's watching. So definitely want to thank you for coming up here.
Thank you for having me. It has been my honor.
And then we have your toolkit, is what I composed as writing matters. Be detailed, be authentic. It's all about networking. I added that one.
And ask for help.
Ask for help.
That is, yes, asking for help. It's never a stupid question. Just ask.
Sometimes my questions are stupid, but I'm still going to ask.
I'm going to have to make a toolkit with all the artist stuff after every interview.
D-Bird, do you think dickhole is a good insult to someone?
No.
I thought you said jickhole, and I'm like...
I said dick hole.
It sounds like something a toddler would say, because they're like, oh, am I saying a bad word? And you're like, no, it's kind of goofy. That's my take.
That you just described the person that asked that question, which was smoking. So that checks.
Yeah, checks out.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to put your questions in here. What is your least favorite pizza topping?
Ooh.
Oh, mushrooms. Because gross. Why would they be on there?
I love mushrooms.
I agree. Have you ever been cow tipping since you were raised in the country? Pushing over a classmate doesn't count.
Fuck. I tried. I actually tried going cow tipping. I didn't grow up in the country, but my best friend in 7th grade lived out like next to a farm, and we went in the middle of the day, and we were like, "Oh, this will be fun." I wander over, like, little 7th grader, wander over to this herd of cattle, and I'm just like gonna pet them or touch them. Like, I don't really have a plan. They all turn to me simultaneously and start rushing. So I almost got fucking stampeded, and the only thing that saved me was a shitty little like rundown shack in the middle of the field. You kind of like see those broken down shacks. You're like, why is that there? Well, it's to save the farmers and the dumb little 7th graders from being stampeded. So the herd chased me into there. I hid, in this like kind of wooden enclosure, this piece of shit shack that's like might have fallen on me. But it saved my life because I didn't get trampled by cows. And that was the last time I tried going cow tipping.
That's the last time he went to any kind of farm.
You know what? Cows. I learned later that cows are like super dangerous, and like, you don't know this as a 7th grader, but they're like one of the highest deaths of all death to, animal to human deaths.
No, they are not.
Look it up. It's crazy.
Nikki, type.
It's a lot.
Was there any more questions that we missed from Smokin'?
Nope, that was the last one.
Okay.
She did I think I hit the other two earlier. So.
Yeah, the dick hole one was the other one.
I thought so.
I call people a dickhole. I don't know.
All the time. Me too.
I'll say son of
I
a
mean, it's
dickhole.
kind of a cutesy, like, oh, haha, you know,
You
but it's
son
not
of a
like a
dickhole.
mean thing.
I say mother bitch on a lot.
Mother bitch.
Mother bitch! Like when I stub my toe.
That's kind of funny. That would just make me giggle. You'd probably be mad because I'd be like laughing at your like.
You have stub her toe in the other room and here, mother bitch.
Yeah, that's me.
All right. Well, thank you all for joining us for another Nikey Joe Show. Going to keep it short and sweet. Just at about 2 hours. We'll try to start on time next week. Don't have an interview lined up, so it might be Conspiracy Monday with Cody. We'll see. Where we'll dive into conspiracy topics. And of course, anybody can join us if they want. Beaver's like, not my jam.
But when we watch, Tool Academy, he'll be there.
Oh, yeah.
With hats on.
No, that's the Bird's Nest. That's a different show.
When's it coming back? Let me know.
We'll do it.
All right, that's going to be all for us tonight. We're going to wrap it up. I hope that you guys all have a great week, and I'm so glad that we got to actually get a little bit deeper in D-Bird. Sounds so bad.
Deeper in D-Bird. You all heard it here.
That's a bar.
I need to stop. All right, I don't know how to rate anybody, so we're just going to go offline, I think.
All right, see you later. Good night.
Right, y'all have a beautiful week. See you Wednesday, and then Sunday for the Sunday show. Yeah.
Later on.
Bye.